Hi, welcome back to Guitar Discoveries. I'm Robert Cassard. Glad to have you here in my studio lounge where we like to explore all kinds of topics related to guitar. Today, I really want to focus in on something that people often forget is a critical factor in their tone, and that is the gauge or thickness of your guitar picks. Wouldn't think that would be such a big deal, but it can make a huge difference, and I want to demo that for you right now. Take a listen to this. And now this. And last. Pretty amazing difference. Now, in general, most guitarists tend to favor thin to medium picks on acoustic guitars and move toward the heavy or extra heavy for electric playing. But that's not a hard and fast rule. And as you just heard, there's a huge difference in the tone, particularly that high end. There's a lot of sheen when it comes to the attack of a thin pick. So here's just a strum. You hear all that pick noise, right? It's a very okay, now here's a medium. Here's a heavy. And here's an extra heavy. Almost like you put a sock over the whole thing. It darkened up so much with that extra heavy pick. So I want you to just soak that in for a minute. It can make a bigger difference than the strings you have on the guitar. It can make a bigger difference than the guitar itself in certain cases, what gauge of pick or what thickness of pick you're playing. So think about that. I really recommend having all different gauges of picks available to play, because depending on what it is you're trying to do, sometimes it's more effective to pick up a different pick than it is to actually EQ that instrument differently or compress it differently or whatever. There's a lot of flexibility you get from that tone. In producing records, there are times when I'll very deliberately say, you know what, we got to switch to thin picks for this, because I want that to hear that pick attack.
Just shirts on my back, get a bit defensive, personal attacks.
Other times, medium's of course great for middle of the road acoustic playing. It's actually really good. I often will play medium on an electric guitar because I like the pick attack that I hear from that. There's a lot of other people who will say, I'd rather go with a heavy on an electric because I want more articulation. A heavy pick, because it doesn't flex as much, you can often move faster when you're playing really fast leads. A lot of this, though, is a matter of personal preference. And I really urge you, though, to do the experimentation. Don't just default, to a medium every time or heavy every time just because that's what you've always done. You'll find you really get a lot more tonal range out of your instruments. And this is really true of all your guitars, just by switching pick gauge. So there it is, guitar discovery for the day. Pick gauge. Experiment. See the kind of wonders that it brings out and how it can make one guitar sound like 4 completely different guitars. Thanks for joining me today. Please subscribe. I'd love to share more guitar discoveries with you. Got lots of topics to cover, a whole lifetime of this stuff. So please do subscribe and join me for the next Guitar Discoveries. I'm Robert Cassard.